Well, hello everyone, and this is the part of shipbuilding that I enjoy the most. So here we have something which has been on order for a long time, which is a 3D printed World War II Fletcher class destroyer. It's 3D printed from the land of China. The Fletcher is, or was, one of the most amazing warships of World War II. Spawned the Gearing class, which had the Alan M. Summers class in between them. They didn't do an Ann Summers class, but they did an Alan M. Summers class in between the Fletcher and the Gearing. Basically, the Fletcher got longer to the Alan M. Summers class, and the Gearing class was even longer still, with twin 5-inch mounts instead of single ones. I can't remember if the Alan M. Summers one had twin 5-inch mounts, and we won't talk about the Ann Summers destroyer. But anyway, this is the part of building destroyers that I absolutely love, or building ships that I just absolutely love. And here we've got the Falanoucs, a Corvette-sized air defence frigate. Now, this is where I start to learn stuff about ships and really develop my knowledge of what makes ships work and what makes ships not work. So the Falanoucs has the beam, which is the width to accommodate a hefty air defence setup. So we've got the S1850 radar there, we've got the other part of the system, which would be the Samson there, and then we've got the 21 cells for the Sea Phoenix, and that's the Sea Phoenix, which is a Malagasy indigenous Hassagawi production from the MIC, with a booster to take the Phoenix up to 30,000 feet, and then the Phoenix with an improved active seeker can do the rest. So a long range air defence missile. Now, when I came to look at the Fletcher class hull and how that could be modernised, and I want to do this so that I can backdate it and sort of bring it up to date with various bits, and the model itself is quite good for that, because I can take the turret from the original Fletcher and I can do like I've done here with a 57mm Bofors, because unfortunately the person that sells these online has taken a break, and then I thought about, well, what missiles could I fit, and I looked at fitting my Sea Phoenix on there. But the problem is, and this helpfully Rob's pointed this out with the Wuchan Taiwanese destroyers, where they modernised the Gearing class and the Fletcher classes, is that actually the Fletchers can't have this kind of system because they don't have the hull space down below to do it. So that removed that kind of Sea Phoenix launcher from this. Now, the Falanoucs can do it because it's got the beam and it's got the hull depth to actually accommodate those as vertical launch systems. So then that got me thinking, well, actually, what's the role of a frigate? Well, the role of a destroyer is to provide that air defence, and that's what the Fletchers originally did, is they could defend themselves and defend other ships. But the Falanoucs can do that air defence role. It's got the beam, it's got the modern systems such as the exhaust venting down here for IR signatures, etc, etc. It's got the AI bridge, it's got the nice angles, but if you look at it, the Falanoucs is a lot wider, almost probably about almost 8 centimetres wider than the Fletcher. But what the Fletcher has is it has a hull which is better for long range missions. It's faster through the water, 36 knots, whereas the Falanoucs can hit a top speed theoretically of 31 knots. So the Fletcher is a longer, wider roaming, ocean going vessel. Now the Falanoucs has the multi-mission bay here. It has the towed sonar and the unmanned surface vehicle launcher at the rear, which you can just see there. And the Falanoucs are designed to provide air defence cover for the amphibious forces, but operate at a slower speed. The Fletchers are designed to roam around on their own, providing flying the Malagasy flag around the strategic triangle, and flying the flag abroad. So the longer range ships with better sea holding, able to go over oceans, whereas the Falanoucs are best in the littoral and protecting those amphibious groups. So what I like to think of is actually, well, what does the Fletcher need to do? Well, it needs to protect itself. So that's where we've got the Salty Sea Dog launchers here with 10 point defence missiles. It will have a new bridge. So this is the old World War II style bridge. And if you look at that, that looks very old-fashioned, very World War II. Can it mount the new radar on the top? Well, yes, it can, but does it look really stupid? Yes, it does. So I'm going to do a new bridge arrangement there with this radar on the top here, with a slightly older Malagasy indigenous Whatif Southrup radar here, which will go up there on a mast, and that gives the ability to provide longer range search coverage. It won't have the Sea Phoenix, so this is able to defend itself, which is what it needs to do. It will have the Sea Whiz from the 1980s, and before that Sea Chaparral missiles. And I've got some Chaparrals, so I can do Sea Chaparrals. And what I'm planning to do with the gun mounts is have it so that I can change the setup of this frigate, so I can do it backdated. So it comes with 6 turrets, so I can do just a gun turret, and these are just modernised with the Bofors mounted in this turret, and then I can backdate it with Seawolf, put the Seawolf trackers on, and do it all so I can backdate it. Now I can't backdate it too far because at some point in the 1970s in the Whatif, the Fletchers were converted to have the hangars here, but I can add the flight deck and the hangar there, and it can either have a Lynx, which will please a lot of people, or it can have the AS535. You can't really get bigger than that, and before that the UH-1Fs. So really I can do it from the hangar mods in the 60s to today, and then using these mounts and these gun mounts, have it so that I can add and take away different systems to essentially have the ship in 3 different time periods, but not going back before the hangar mods, which would be the mid to late 1960s. What will we have here? Well, here we'll have towed sonar arrays coming out here, and I wouldn't really go back much further than that. And I'll mount the anti-ship missiles, which will be exocets here. So they're not the Larasims of the new Falanoucs. They're the older ones, but they still give the capability you need. So the frigate is an all-round ship which is able to defend itself. The Falanouk is kind of in a class of its own because it's corvette size with destroyer firepower. So that provides area defence for a number of ships. The Fletchers, being a frigate, they need to defend themselves. So they have point defence weaponry. The Salty Sea Dog, or before that, the Sea Wolf. So a little bit of a different concept there. And what that means is then if I want to do a destroyer, a true destroyer, modern destroyer, I need an even bigger hull with the beam of the Falanouk and the length of the Fletcher. Now, why is length to beam really important? Because the Fletchers will ride better in the oceans than the Falanoucs, but the Falanoucs will ride better and be more manoeuvrable in the littoral, because the Falanoucs, as you can see, have twin rudders and the bow thruster at the front, and they hide their sonars internally or at the back, the towed ones. The Fletchers only have one rudder, but their length to beam ratio is better for riding the rougher oceans. So a lot going on, and I'm really learning about shipping and shipbuilding. I don't like the old World War II bridge. It's very World War II. Yes, it looks great for kind of that period, and the Taiwanese Republic of China ships did modernise theirs, but I want something a little bit modern, more modern, but not too modern, not like the Falanouk, where we've got a essentially 4-person bridge with AI and big windows. for observation. Now, the Fletchers and the Gearings were certainly some of the first ships where they were moving away from the British model of the open bridge. Everyone's standing there like Victorian periods, getting soaked, to the Command Information Centre, the CIC, or Combat Information Centre, I should say, running the battle down here. And on the Falanouk, you'll notice that the bridge here is just for navigation. Everything that commands the ship and what's going on is done in the Combat Information Centre, sorry. Now, the firepower of the Falanouk is higher because it's got the Sea Phoenix in vertical launch, but the ability of everything else, except for the radar system where the Falanouk has got this S1850 radar here, is roughly similar in terms of firepower. 2 Sea Whizzes, one either side. The Bushmaster cannons, they'll be mounted on the Fletcher too. But the Fletcher is, or the evolved Fletcher, is a point defence weapon system. The Falanouk is covering amphibious ships. Better sea keeping, longer range, higher speed. Worse sea keeping, shorter range, lower speed, better air defence coverage to go with the ships that it's supporting. Littoral, long range, ocean going. Ta-ra.